What should your podcast be about? The million-dollar question that every aspiring podcaster asks. What should my podcast be about? In this video, I'm going to break down for you how to identify what your podcast needs to be about and how you can use it to serve you to grow your brand and grow your business. Let's get to it. Hey Changemaker, what is going on? It is your man, Jay Wong, and in this video, I want to show you what your podcast needs and should be about. And this is a very common question I get asked all the time. People engage with us in our business to be able to help them launch a top-rated podcast. So let me break down an activity that we get all of our private clients and our private students to do, and you can do this with me. Obviously, this is a little bit different, right? We're pulling you a little closer. I'm getting on the whiteboard, and we're actually going to get to work. So pull up a piece of paper and let's actually draw this out. So if you're asking what your podcast needs to be about, you need to ask yourself essentially two different questions. And it breaks down to this, okay? There's essentially two different circles. Hope you can see the board okay. But in the first circle, this is what's known as your UA, okay? In other words, it is unique. Let's see if I can spell this right. It's your unique ability, okay? It is, in other words, your genius. It's your gift. It is what makes you so special. It's your special sauce, right? I did an episode with the founder, one of the founders of the entire idea of unique ability. Her name is Julia Waller. We did an interview with her on my podcast. I'll link to that interview down below in case some of you are on that part of the journey where you're trying to figure out what is that unique ability? What is that special sauce that you have? It's essentially the activity that you can always see yourself improving in. It's something that, for the rest of your life, you could really just, if you did that, it would make you happy, right? So the first side of the equation is figuring out what is your UA, what is your unique ability? Because at the end of the day, if you're gonna put in all this time and energy to creating the content that you want it to be able to serve you. You want to be able to be happy with it. You want to be able to make jokes with it and experiment it, right? So you want to be operating within your UA. It's very tiring if you're outside of this circle too much, okay? And we can take this and apply this in different aspects of building your business and building your brand, but specifically around the content of your podcast, you need to be creating content that is highlighting your UA, or if you're like a coach consultant, highlighting your UA, and that's maybe coaching is your unique ability. So you need to have podcast episodes in there where you're coaching people, right? If interviewing and communicating is your UA, you need to have episodes in there where you're interviewing people, right? Everyone's gonna be a little different. First questions you have to ask yourself, figuring out your UA, your unique ability, okay? Hope this makes sense. Hope this is showing up on the video. Not even exactly sure. So that's one side of the coin. The other side of the coin, okay, over here is what we know as the expert, okay? This is what could you teach on? What is your authority in? What can you share? What's the perspective? What's the insights that you could share with your audience, okay? That makes you an expert in those things. Now, a lot of times when we say expert, people go, well, I don't have anything to teach. I don't have a framework yet, or I don't have products yet. Look, that's okay. That's exactly where I got started. And where this expert comes in, I want you to think about this, is what are the stories? Don't try to think so big in terms of like, well, I haven't, launched a successful startup, so I can't possibly, or I didn't write a New York bestseller, so I can't possibly serve my audience that way. Try not to think about it like that. Try to think about it as in, if you graduated high school, could you give advice to someone who's just entering high school? Right? It's only like four-year difference, right? But could someone who's 18 years old, who just went through high school, just graduated, could they not give advice to a 14-year-old coming in? Right? So same type of idea. What have you gone through? What are the traumas in your life? What's your story? What have you, did you have immigrant parents? Was maybe one of your parents, maybe they, weren't in your life? Maybe you could speak to that audience. Maybe, you were in the military. Maybe you're in the army. Maybe you're in a certain type of business. Whatever it is, I guarantee you, if you look, there are topics that you can teach others on. Right? And in the beginning, I didn't really think about any of my content as expert content, but I thought about what is the value that I can add. I could share with you what going through long distance means, right? Does that mean I'm a relationship expert? Not necessarily, but I could just share with you my experience, right? And so this is a little bit subjective, but it's what are you comfortable sharing and what are you comfortable teaching? Right? Now, if you're watching this and you already have your own little niche and you already have that authority built up, it's going to make a lot more sense, right? But right here in the middle of all this, right? In the middle of this is what your topic needs to be around, okay? So this is where we figure out what is the ideal topic for you for your podcast. Because here's the thing, the podcast needs to serve you. First and foremost, it needs to serve you. You need to have some type of selfish type of, I love creating this content. Even if it does nothing for me and nothing for my business, I still love it at its core. So there needs to be that. But the second part of that equation is, can we use that? Can I still love it? But can I use it to increase my brand? Can I use it to increase my business? Can I use it to have this great value piece that I'm always serving old customers, new subscribers, new people that's entering my world? You need to start thinking like this, okay? So I'm literally breaking down here. We do this exercise in my online course. We do it. It's a lot more in depth and, we have all these questions to kind of figure out. But in broad strokes, just think about this. What's your own genius? Right? What's the special sauce that you bring to, your world, and what's what makes you you, right? Your own unique ability, and what can you teach? What is it that you're passionate sharing ideas on? What's people ask, if you have an audience already, what are they always asking you? What are the questions that they're asking you, right? And in between there, you need to have a good kind of a balance between that, your unique ability and your expertise, to create the overall topic, okay? So that's tactically addressing it. Let me address it from a different angle for you, because I think for some of you, this makes some sense and you're gonna brainstorm ideas. What I would do is I would just brainstorm all the different things. I would brainstorm all the different things. Over here, unique ability, if you're not too sure, ask 5 to 10 people around you what they believe your genius is. They'll tell you, okay? And just be willing to just set the frame right. Just say, hey, tell me, I'm not, you're not gonna hurt my feelings, no holds bar, just tell me the truth, right? Expertise, you can ask your audience, what are people always coming to you for? What are people jumping on the phone to kind of engage with you for? That's gonna give you a really good indication of what your expertise is. And now you wanna think about, can your podcast be a merger of your leveraging your own unique ability as well as your expertise, okay? So that's the tactical side. Here's a second part to kind of think about. The podcast needs to be something that is going to be an ongoing conversation, okay? So let's write that down. Ongoing convo, okay? God, this is a total experiment. No idea if this is gonna work, but ongoing convo. You need to be showing up consistently and keep driving the conversation over and over again. If you're a health and fitness person and you're a nutritionist, or maybe you're an alternative, you're a naturopathic doctor, whatever it is, every single time you create content, it needs to drive that conversation further. Are you fully optimized? Are you getting the right nutrition? Are you getting the right sleep, right? If you're in high performance and mindset and personal development, every single time you create content, the ongoing conversation is, are you getting the most out of the day? Are you getting the most out of your mind? Are you getting the most out of your habits? Right? If you teach any topic, from Facebook ads, to e-commerce, to podcasting, to coaching, or real estate, every single time you create content, it needs to increase that conversation of, hey, when are you gonna buy real estate? When are you gonna buy your first piece? Hey, when are you gonna write your first blog? Hey, when are you gonna create your first podcast? Wink, wink, right? So that's what needs to happen in your content. It needs to be an ongoing conversation piece. Every single time you release content, it adds value to that person's life, right? So I hope this helps you break down and understand what you need to actually create a podcast around. Because there's many different things that I know that you want to be able to talk about, but if you try to think about it in this way, I think it's going to help you get that greater clarity. And obviously for those of you that are looking to launch your podcast and you want more clarity in terms of this podcasting process, down below we've actually included my famous podcast creation roadmap, and it's been responsible for helping hundreds of entrepreneurs actually launch and go out and launch their podcast. It gives you the full kind of framework and it allows you more clarity to think through this whole podcasting process. The link is down below if you want to go ahead and pick that up. If you have any questions around this, I'd love for you to be able to ask me down below. Once this video goes live, I'd love to be able to hang out in the comment section, answer any of your questions. If you like it, please go ahead and like it, and that would really help my YouTube algorithm going on here. If you know someone that's actually launching a podcast, share this video with them. If you love the video, if you're like, this is my type of video, go ahead, smash that subscribe button, because every single week I'm coming out with videos to help you grow your brand, help you grow your business so that you can fund the legacy that you ultimately want. And I can't wait to create more of these videos for you guys, and I can't wait to see you on the next one. Ciao for now.